episode of All Sports ASMR. In today's video, we are going to be predicting the 2025-2026 NFL season. I'm going to be giving you what I think every team's record is going to be, and then each playoff matchup, and then my Super Bowl winner eventually. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at my computer. So over here, I have a website called Playoff Predictor, where I went through and I predicted every single game of the NFL season. Now, if I showed you guys all of that and went through the whole thing, this video would be probably an hour and a half long. This is still going to be a pretty long video, I would think. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, so if I went through the whole thing, I feel like it would just take forever. So we're just going to go division by division, give you each team's record prediction, and then eventually get to the playoffs, and I'll give you each playoff game I'll actually go through. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first, in the AFC North, we're going to start with finishing at 12-5 and the number 1 seed in the AFC. I have the Baltimore Ravens going 12-5. I think the Ravens will kind of run it back this year just like they did last year. They have a great team. Not much really changed with them. I like their defense. Obviously, Lamar is a great quarterback. John Harbaugh is a great head coach. And as long as those two are together, I think that the Ravens will be competent every single year. Coming in at second in the AFC North and fifth in the AFC, I have the Cincinnati Bengals also going 12-5. Now, I do think that the Bengals defense is going to struggle, but I think that they get off to a hotter start than they ever have. You know, Joe Burrow has been notoriously known to start off slow. I don't think that happens this year. I think Joe Burrow passes for almost 5,000 yards, and the Bengals have a very high-octane offense, and I think that they get the job done. Coming in at 9-8 in third place, and just missing out on the playoffs, are the Pittsburgh Steelers. They'll still manage to be above 500 with Mike Tomlin. Aaron Rodgers is still a serviceable quarterback. I just don't think he's what he once was. I do like the DK Metcalf pickup. I like Jalen Ramsey. Obviously TJ Watt, all those guys, like, they have a solid team. They're just in a very stacked division, and their quarterback is unfortunately just a little bit too old. And coming in at 16th in the AFC, last in the AFC North, is the Cleveland Browns at 3-14. The Browns are a joke. They've been a joke for a while. They will continue to be a joke. And until Shedeur Sanders is a starting quarterback for that team, I really don't take them seriously, because Shedeur is the best quarterback on that roster. And if you think otherwise, we can agree to disagree. But yeah, so that is the AFC North. Up next, we have the AFC East, the number 2 seed. Number 2 seed. And first in the division is the Buffalo Bills, finishing at 12-5. I mean, I think the Bills' window is closing, right? I think they have this year and maybe one more year after this. And if they don't win between now and then, I don't know, I don't think they ever will. So, yeah, I think this is the Bills' year, if any year, right? The AFC is kind of wide open. I don't think the Chiefs have to win this year. I don't think the Bills have to win either. I mean, it really is wide open. So yeah. Coming in at second in the AFC East and number 11th overall in the conference is the New England Patriots at 7-10. I like the Mike Vrabel pickup. I love the Mike Vrabel pickup. I think Drake May is a great quarterback. I think they had a great draft, but I still think their offensive line's a little bit weak. Will Campbell will definitely help that, but there's still a lot more to go before they can really become like true contenders. But I definitely think they're going in the right direction. They're just a couple of years out yet. Coming in at third in the AFC East and 13th in the conference is the New York Jets at 6-11. I don't love the Aaron Glenn hiring. I think he's I just think he's a coordinator at best. I mean, they hired a guy who was a defensive coordinator of a team who had a bottom three defense last year. I just don't think that really made much sense to me. I don't think he's an NFL head coach. Like I said, I think he's a coordinator. Fields is okay. He's serviceable. He's not great, but he's not terrible. You can get worse. You can get better. So yeah, not much else to say. The Jets just a very meh team, and they're going to finish 6-11. Also coming in at 6-11 and finishing last in the division is the Miami Dolphins. I think this is Mike McDaniel's last year. Tua and Tyreek, that beef is always going to cause problems behind the scenes. I just think they're a broken organization. And, yeah, I think their secondary kind of sucks. And they're just falling apart. And they can't win in the cold. And football's played in the cold. So with that being said, I think they finished at 6-11 and last in the division. Moving on to the AFC West, we have the Kansas City Chiefs finishing first at 11-6. The Las Vegas Raiders finishing second at 10-7. The Denver Broncos finishing third at 9-8. And the Chargers finishing fourth at 8-9. The Chiefs, I have no explanation. It's Chiefs. It's Mahomes. It's Andy Reid. As long as those two are together, they're going to win football games. The Raiders finishing second at 10-7 is going to surprise a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to call me crazy, but I love their offseason. I think they had a great draft. They bolstered up that offensive line. Ashton Jeanty is similar to the Brock Bowers pick last year. Just they took best available, and they're getting a great player. And I think he's going to be a game changer to that offense. I like Geno Smith. He's a very capable quarterback. I think Jacoby Myers is good. Deontay Thornton, one of the best picks in the draft. I think it's one of the steals of the draft. Trey Tucker. Their defensive line is pretty good. Their secondary is the only thing that scares me a little bit. I like their linebackers, though, with Landon Roberts, Jamal Adams. Excuse me. But yeah, I think the Raiders can make some noise for sure. And next is the Denver Broncos. I think Sean Payton and Bo Nix are going to keep things rolling from last year. I don't think you see a ton of improvement, but I don't think you see a regression either. I just think they're going to be kind of the same. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And then the Chargers at 8-9. I think the injury to Rashawn Slater really hurts them. I think that the receivers are a little bit weak outside of Vlad McConkey, and I don't really believe in Justin Herbert as much as most do. Jim Harbaugh's a big guy to run the football, and they have a rookie running back who's completely unproven, and Najee Harris, who is okay, but is injured, and I don't know if he's going to even start the season. So, definitely sucks to put them there because they're a good team, but that's just a stacked division. So, that's where I have the Chargers. Coming in at 10-7 and winning the AFC South is the Houston Texans at 7-10, and second is the Jaguars at 6-11, and third is the Titans, and at 5-12, and fourth is the Colts. I think the Texans obviously are the best team in this division. I think they'll run it back, and get that home playoff game like they do every year because they get a free division. I'm very high on Cam Ward. Very, very, very high on Cam Ward for Tennessee. I just think, obviously, they're just a little too young just yet, but I think Tennessee will be very good, and they're going in the right direction. Jacksonville, I think this is Trevor Lawrence's last year to really prove himself before he starts to be called a bust. I believe in Trevor still, but he's got to get it going, and the Colts at 5-12, they're a joke. They drafted Anthony Richardson as a project, and they just named Daniel Jones the starting quarterback, so they're completely giving up on Richardson 15 games into the project. So I just don't think that's fair to Anthony Richardson, and I just don't think the Colts are a very well-ran organization ever since Andrew Luck retired. Next up, the NFC North. I have winning the division at 10-7 are the Detroit Lions. So I have them taking a step back. I still think they're going to be a pretty good offense, right? But losing Ben Johnson definitely hurts. I think Dan Campbell is a good head coach, but I think he's very overrated too. I think he coaches them into some games games, and he coaches them out of some games with those crazy fourth down decisions that he makes sometimes. But that's his DNA, that's his identity, that's what he does. So yeah, I can't really hate it, but I don't know. I just think the Lions are going to take a little bit of a step back, losing some coaches, and yeah. At 9-8, second in the division, I have the Packers. The only thing with them is that they're very injury prone, and they don't have any receivers, like at all. So that's why that they're not higher on this list. At 8-9, I have the Chicago Bears. I have them taking a big step forward. Caleb Williams is going to have a much better second year, and with Ben Johnson, it helps a ton. And then at 6-11, and finishing last in the division, is the Minnesota Vikings. JJ McCarthy, I am a believer in him. Kevin O'Connell's a great head coach. I just don't think that they match up with the rest of the teams in the NFC North or just in the NFC period. Coming up next, we have the NFC North, or no, not North, NFC East. And coming in first place, I have the Washington Commanders finishing 11-6. I'm all in. Jane Daniels is great. Dan Quinn, I love him as a head coach. If Terry McLaurin plays and Deebo Samuel stays healthy, I am all in on this team. Love what they got going on over there in Washington. Coming in at second in the division is the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champions. I definitely think they have a little bit of a hangover. I still think they make the playoffs. I still think they're second in the division. I just think they have a little bit of a down year. I don't think they run it back like they did last year. I just think they're going to just take a slight step back. And that's not saying that the roster's bad. I just think it's, besides the Chiefs, you see it with a lot of Super Bowl teams. They take that step back the next year. And if you listen to interviews from NFL players, like the sophomore slump or the Super Bowl slump, hangover, whatever you want to call it, in all sports, it is real. Coming in third place at 10-7, finishing third, and making the playoffs as the 7th seed are the Dallas Cowboys. I'm big on what they got going on over there. I think they got a great offense. I think Dak being healthy, Pickens and CeeDee Lamb just having a full year together, I think they're going to do a lot of great things on offense, and they're going to outscore some of their defensive problems. Coming in at 5-12 is the New York Giants, finishing last. I'm not that low on the Giants, but they just have a terrible schedule. I mean, terrible. The schedule makers really did them no justice at all. I think the Giants are a decent team, actually. This is the best team on paper that we've seen in the Daboll era, but they just have a crazy tough schedule. I love Jackson Dart. I feel like he'll take over sometime during the year. I like Ross too. Jameis isn't even bad. Like, I don't mind this team. Neighbors is great. Defense is good. But the schedule was just impossible. Like, they have one of the worst schedules I've probably ever seen in my life. Up next is the NFC South. Coming in at first, no surprise, I have the Buccaneers going 12-5. I love what they got going on. I think losing Liam Cohen hurts a little bit, but other than that, they're a great team. Baker Mayfield's a great quarterback. Their offense is great. And yeah, I just think they're a very good team. Coming in second is the Falcons at 8-9. I think people are a little high on the Falcons this year. I think Michael Penix is going to need another year of developing. It'll be some bumps and bruises throughout the year. I still think he has a solid year, but I think next year is when you really see the Falcons really take that next step. Coming in at third, I have the Panthers at 5-12. Again, their schedule was pretty tough. I like Bryce Young. I like some of the stuff they got going on over there. I just think they're a little weak on offense. I don't mind their defense, though. Their defense is pretty solid, but I think their offense is a little lackluster outside of quarterback and Drew Bobbert at running back. And coming in last at 4-13, a generous 4-13, let me mind you, is the New Orleans Saints. They're terrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league, if not the worst. They're just not a good football team. They don't have a quarterback. Their head coach is terrible. I hate that hire. It's just not good. Not a good situation there in New Orleans. Derek Carr retiring really hurt them. And then finally, the last division, the NFC West. At first, I have the Niners at 13-4. Sorry if you guys heard that car, by the way. I'm filming this during the day, so there's some cars that are driving by. But at first, I have the Niners at 13-4. if they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in the league, man. I'm just banking on the fact that they stay healthy. Coming in a second at 12-5 is the Rams. Same thing, if they're healthy, their offense is super fun to watch, and this is going to be a great division battle, and I'm really excited to watch it. Coming in at third, I have the Seahawks at 8-9. I like Mike McDonald. I think he's a good head coach. I like the Sam Darnold signing. I think they're a solid team, but I just think that they're in a pretty tough division and are going to have some struggles. And coming in at fourth at 7-10 is the Arizona Cardinals. I like Kyler Murray. I like Marvin Harrison to have a big second-year leap. I'm, really looking at him in fantasy in a lot of leagues. I think he's gonna go crazy this year. But the Cardinals, again, they're just similar to the Seahawks in a tough division, tougher schedule. Excuse me, tougher schedule. But yeah. So that's what we got going on over there. And now for the playoffs. So a quick little rundown for you guys. I have in the AFC, I have the Ravens at 1, the Bills at 2, the Chiefs at 3, the Texans at 4, Bengals at 5, Raiders at 6, and Broncos at 7. And in the NFC, I have the Niners at 1, Buccaneers at 2, Commanders at 3, Lions at 4, Rams at 5, Eagles at 6, and Cowboys at 7. So without further ado, let's get into the playoffs. So in the wild card, starting on the AFC side, I have the Bengals, the 5 seed, traveling to Houston to take on the 4 seeded Texans. And I think the Bengals win this game. I think this is an absolute shootout here. Like, we're talking both teams in the 30s. But I just think that the Bengals, Joe Burrow, with that experience and that stone cold killer mentality that he has, I think that they win. Going away towards the end, I think it's close, but then I think they pull away at the end. Second game in the AFC is the 6-seeded Raiders traveling to the 3rd-seeded Kansas City Chiefs, and I have the Chiefs winning this game. I think the Chiefs' experience will prevail here. I think the Raiders are on the right track, and Pete Carroll will coach this into a close game, but I think the Chiefs pull this one out. Next, we have a rematch of last year, the 7-seeded Broncos taking on the 2-seeded Bills, and I see the results being exactly the same. Bills by quite a lot. I think the Bills are much better, and it'll show. Moving on to the NFC side of things, we have the 5-seeded Rams traveling to the 4-seeded Detroit Lions, and I have the Rams winning this game. I think Matthew Stafford goes into his former home and just cuts that defense for a ton of points, and I think that the Rams prevail. Up next, I have the 6-seeded Eagles traveling to Washington to take on the 3rd-seeded Commanders. I told you I'm all in on Washington this year, and I told you Philly's going to have a Super Bowl hangover, and I'm sticking true to that. I think the home field advantage here for the Commanders really helps, and they beat the Eagles and stun the world. Up next, I have the 7-seeded Dallas Cowboys taking on the 2-seeded Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay, and I have Tampa Bay winning this game. Again, home field advantage helps a lot. I think Baker and that offense just rips through the Cowboys. And yeah. Up next in the divisional round, I have on the AFC side of things the 3-seeded Chiefs traveling to take on the 2-seeded Buffalo Bills. And I have the Bills winning. Yes, I finally think that the Bills beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. This is Josh Allen's year. I think the Chiefs are on the decline a little bit, and I think that the Bills know this is their chance. I think Josh Allen's too good of a quarterback to be owned by Patrick Mahomes the way he has been. So I think he rights the ship and wins this game at home in front of Bills Mafia. Up next, I have the 5-seeded Bengals taking on the 1-seeded Ravens, and I have the Ravens winning this game. I think the Ravens are a good team. I think they're just better than the Bengals. I think the Bengals defense will struggle in this game. And again, I think this is Lamar's time to shine too. He has never won much in the playoffs besides a couple of games here and there. I think it's his time to go. On the NFC side of things, I have the 3-seeded Commanders going to Tampa to take on the 2-seeded Buccaneers, and I have the Commanders going to the NFC title game back-to-back years. And then in the last NFC game, I have the 5-seeded Rams traveling to Santa Clara to take on the 1-seeded San Francisco 49ers, and I have the 49ers winning this game. In the conference championships, I have the 2-seeded Bills taking on the 1-seeded Baltimore Ravens. And this is tough. I actually haven't even picked this yet. I don't know who to pick here. I really don't. I just think this is a really close, tightly contested game between two good teams. But I'm going to go with the Ravens and the home field advantage. I think Lamar gets it done and goes to the Super Bowl for the first time in his career. And on the NFC side of things, I have the Commanders taking on the 49ers, and I have the Commanders winning. Jayden Daniels, in his sophomore year, goes to the Super Bowl. Most quarterbacks who had a great rookie year have a little bit of a sophomore slump. I don't believe that with Jayden Daniels. He's a great quarterback, and he will get them to the Super Bowl. Okay, so my Super Bowl is the Commanders and the Ravens. And as much as I believe in Jayden Daniels, and I really do think he's going to be one of the greatest when it's all said and done, he's just incredible. I like Dan Quinn. I love the Commanders team. I just think it's destined for Lamar to finally win one. Lamar's been through it all. He's won the MVPs. He's done all the regular season stuff. He's too good of a quarterback to not perform in the playoffs, and I think he really steps it up this year. So with that being said, all sports ASMR. All sports ASMR. All sports ASMR predicts the Baltimore Ravens to win the 2025-2026 NFL Super Bowl. So yeah, that is it. I've got the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. This is a longer video. This took a lot of time to record and to go through and predict everything. So if you guys could please drop a like on this video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll make sure to answer all my viewers' comments. Subscriptions are obviously very appreciated. It's free and it helps channel grow. If you like the video, it pushes it on the algorithm, and again, just helps this channel grow. And I'm really trying to get out there and interact with all of you. So if you guys could help me, that would be amazing. But with that being said, I am going to wrap this up. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You guys are the best. God bless, and enjoy the rest of your day.